Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are
Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad of the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth. Make we reason. Make we talk. And we don't care about no fumva viva var. No upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica. Make we talk. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad of the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth. Make we reason. Make we talk. And we don't care about no fumva viva var. No upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica. Make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad of the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth. Make we reason. Make we talk. And we don't care about no fumva viva var. No upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica. Make we talk. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad of the entire diaspora.
Good night, whoever listening watching from around the world and the Eastern Caribbean. This is the Make We Talk program with yours truly, Jeffrey T. I'm simulcasting this evening on Cayman Mall Road in the Cayman Islands. I want to say thanks to none other than my good friend Sandra, or Sandy, from Cayman Mall Road, who decided to reach out to me and say, hey, Jeffrey, we need to put you on the platform over here. I want to say thank you very much to all those who are watching us over there in the Cayman Islands. I've always said Cayman is my second home. I've lived in Cayman for many years. And I want to say good night to Dr. Stephen Tony Tomlinson, my father, my other father, Miss Eva, to Dr. Sidney Banks, to all those who know me in the Cayman Islands. Good evening, welcome to the Make We Talk program. My special guest this evening is none other than Dr. Karren Dunkley. Dr. Dunkley, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Greetings and salutations, Jeffrey. As always, it is my pleasure to be here and bless up to your listeners. Congratulations, Jeffrey. You're simulcasting. Wow. I remember when you started with Make We Talk during the pandemic. I was the Diaspora Northeast USA rep at the time. And you were always very supportive. And I tell people time and time again, I will always come and talk to Jeffrey Tavares because I have seen the growth. So congratulations to you, your team. Jeffrey, I always tell people, that even when we don't agree on everything, one thing that we can agree on is discourse, conversation, arguments to push and advance Jamaica land we love. So God and country first. So congrats, man. This is a big moment for you to be simulcasting. Enough respect.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dunkley. Thank you. And for all those students in the chat room, we're simulcasting this evening on the Cayman Road in the Cayman Islands. A lot of people in the Cayman Islands, because of the formerly Christian Thomas Memorial Hospital, know me. So we're simulcasting with them right now. Dr. Dunkley, let's get into the nitty-gritty of what you're coming to speak about. What is your views on the relief efforts in Jamaica as now? Talk to us about your your experience, because it went close to home for you. Talk to us about that.
I really sigh, Jeffrey, because when you talk about the relief efforts, this is not a movie that I am watching. It is certainly not a program or pictures that I am scrolling through on social media, like so many Jamaicans or brothers and sisters who live along the Western Corridor, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, parts of Hanover, I heard, complete devastation, parts of Trelawney impacted. My family resides in what we would call agricultural or deep rural St. Elizabeth, Elderslie. I don't think it's deep rural, but that is how it is described. Where 90 odd percent, 95% of the homes, the businesses, the churches, the post office really absolutely endured physical damage, emotional damage. For my family, all of the roofs off, the windows really just blown out. Mr. Jeffrey, never have you seen anything like it. You can't even imagine. Could you imagine Hurricane Melissa took up the garage door and ripped it like a piece of paper? My mom, I know we can laugh about these things,
Yes.
but my mom said she and the lady who used to take care of us was holding down the door. And she said, when she see the wind lift up, Jeffrey, lift it up, the freezer full of food like a piece of paper. She said she had to let go the door and run into a crawl space before she went to a neighbor for shelter. Because once the roof goes, she said everything became a projectile and the glass break. It was just the wind was just moving through the house. And when I stepped into that house, it was an apocalypse. I mean, talk about pushing out the water. Everything wet. And then something to share with your audience is the secondary rains, because I went to my mom. Hurricane hit when I was there the week
October
after.
20 something, I think. Yeah.
Well, I went 1 week to the day. And when I went, everything wet. And it's like you're living in the open because the roof is off. So, what I mean by the secondary rains, all the elements are coming in. So, I'm a girl, I afraid of lizard in the house, bees in the house because all the bees, every element in the house. And then when the rains would fall, so just imagine that just falling down. So we have seen, I described it as an apocalypse, and it's complete devastation. And yet, amidst the devastation, we still have life and we still have hope. So we give thanks.
Yes.
What I would say is, my mom and I would put the mattresses outside and we sun them, Jeffrey, because my mother says she not left our house. She not leaving our house. She will not be displaced. And you have to remember that this is my grandparents. This is our family property in Elderslie. It's several acres of agricultural land. And when you look across it, we have never been able to see the entire property. My grandparents are buried there. I have an uncle that's buried there, my aunt. I have a cousin that I lost very early. He's buried there. We've never been able to stay up in the house and look down. And you could just see from end to end, everything down. The chicken them blow away, the coop mash up, the pig them run away, two came back, all gone. So as
Dr.
secure as we
Take from it.
thought, yes.
Take over from it. Take over from it, please.
As secure, I'll continue talking to the listeners, as secure listeners as we thought that all of these structures on the farm there were no strength for Hurricane Melissa. And I have to tell you, when I went, there's a school that is very close by to where I am. It's actually within walking distance, the primary school. And when I walked into that school and saw families who didn't necessarily know each other, but when I saw families enter, you see them living in the school, just really sleeping in not ideal situation. You see children, it really just speaks to this spirit of camaraderie that had to take over, the spirit of community. Because as you can imagine, the trauma that these families where they lost everything. And what I want to share with you, Jeffrey asked me, how is the relief going? For me, and we've heard from the government, and by government I mean both sides. This is not about any political party. This is not a time to politicize a disaster. This is a time for us to come together as one Jamaica. Because when Melissa come through, she never go for the PMP and she never go for labor rights. She really swept through Jamaica and really left and wreaked havoc on our country. And I just want to say that the relief, recovery, and restoration, and it's in the recovery now that the rebuilding and in the restoration. So while we still need some relief, I would like to especially talk to the diaspora that we need now to help to pivot, help to support recovery. And what do we mean by recovery, my diaspora brothers and sisters? And quite frankly, even those who are at home, who are listening and watching this program, recovery means that we need to support, if we can, the rebuilding of people's homes where they can have a roof over their head, their own shelter, to return them to some normalcy. We need now livelihood. So, for example, over the weekend on Sunday, the team went to Westmoreland, and I'm going to talk a little bit about who the team is and the team members are. And we went to Darlaston, Westmoreland. We met with the Member of Parliament. We also met with some of the councillors, and including the mayor, Mayor Delancey, and Councillor Bacchus, and the Member of Parliament, Dr. Campbell. And what we heard, the reason we went to Westmoreland is the 2 weeks prior, we happened to be along a road tour with the Speaker of the House, the Most Honorable Juliet Holness, and her team, because we were going into St. Elizabeth to support the sitting Member of Parliament, newly minted MP Andrew Morris. And a lot of persons reached out to us and said, you are focusing on St. Elizabeth. We know St. Elizabeth was devastated. We know you're a sainty girl, but we are asking you to please consider Westmoreland. Please come to Westmoreland because Westmoreland needs help. And I have to tell you, Jeffrey and listeners, when we entered Darlaston, we went on Sunday.
Before you go
It was like,
before you go further with Darlaston, Dr. Dunkley, I want the people in the Cayman Islands to know, well, actually, let you know also that Cayman has a special place in their heart for the people of St. Elizabeth. And why I say that is because I know there's some people from Cayman, but majority who whose family is from St. Elizabeth.
oh,
Wilfred Rattigan, he has some music playing in the background. We're going to stop the music before it come on. We're speaking to Dr. Karren Dunkley. We're live on Make We Talk Simon Class with Cayman Mall Road in the Cayman Islands. Welcome to everyone in the chat room. Welcome. Dr. Dunkley, you're talking about going into Dallas. I am from Westmoreland. That's my name.
oh, did not know that, Jeffrey. This is news to me. Okay.
I'm from Westmoreland. And my first of all, who died, the late Justice of Westmoreland, Jim Thompson, he was a member of Parliament at one point for, I think it was in Westmoreland or Central, I don't remember. But he, that's what we get to know, and the late Rock happens. We get to know a lot about the constituency of Westmoreland, both Central and Eastern Westmoreland, and Western Westmoreland, of course. So talk to us about you traveling down to that area.
Jeffrey, so St. Elizabeth, by the way, borders Westmoreland, and we were coming from Newmarket. So Newmarket is relatively close to Darlaston in terms of driving. The roads are treacherous and were treacherous before. So we know that we have infrastructure issues. So imagine that these issues are now worsened. They are exacerbated. Greetings, Attorney Rattigan. by the hurricane, and just driving and still seeing people's homes underwater, Jeffrey, you cannot see the devastation and remain unchanged. And as we were on the roads, people kept saying, we clear the road them, we why not road for drive, we. So you saw a lot of community ownership, not sitting waiting on government, because you have to restore your communities. And that's what I'm saying about the spirit of the Jamaican people. But driving through all the pole lines down, the houses submerged, the destruction, the barrenness, when you enter Darlington itself, I was not prepared for that. As horrific, as debilitating as it was to drive through St. Elizabeth. And then remember now, when I came into St. Elizabeth, I came through St. James. So we're not even talking about Niagara and Garlands and just the craters and just, how completely destroyed those communities are. When you enter Darlington Square, it's almost like the hurricane happened yesterday. And to see the poles down, to see the people, and thank God Jamaica is sunny, because I can't imagine people living and laughing and having hope if this were in a dark, like how the winter can be dark and dreary, Jeffrey. This would just be complete depression. And I think what gives the people hope is the weather, right? And so we still have the sun, and we still have the climate. And I think that is a part of, we take it for granted, but that's a part of the joy. And when we drove through Darlington and we saw the damage, I said to the member of parliament that we hear this, but not the news, not me going through St. James, St. Elizabeth could not compare, could not prepare.
You know why, Dr.
Prepare
Dunkley,
us.
and as we get Wilfred Rattigan to come on in here, you know why, Dr. Dunkley, everybody was zeroing on St. Elizabeth alone. No one was thinking about Westmoreland, where that is actual ground zero. My wife's family is from St. Elizabeth, and thank God everything is okay with them. Nothing will happen to them. And also, thank God some of my family. I know one of my family members, my family house, the roof is gone. The people who helped to raise me in Westmoreland, their roof is gone also. It's just a devastation that happened in that area. And people are saying that there's no one coming in to help them. You on the ground down there, Dr. Dunkley. You see firsthand. I saw Dr. Dayton come in the parliament literally crying for help. I want to play a video here before I have you come in and have Wilfred Rattigan come on in. By Dr. Angela Brown Burke. Listen to this here. One moment here. What did I do here? Hold on a minute. Not playing. I don't know why. Just let me figure out something. Continue for the Dr. Dunkley. Let me figure out something.
I just want to say, Jeffrey, that the councillors, and I'm sure the member of parliament, I only met with one MP, so I like to speak succinctly and in particular, in granular terms, that we initially, when the persons, because the people reached out to us, and we kept saying we're going to West, but that accelerated the decision. And the councillors in West, on both sides, there's Councillor Bacchus, I happen to know his cousin, and I went to school with some Bacchuses, they're Indians at St. Catherine High, and I happen to know his cousin. The mayor, Councillor Mayor Delancey, there's a councillor, Ian Miles, who is just passionate and was just on it when we said we're coming and is going to help us to organize during the different sections. So I have to say that in Westmoreland, at least the councillors that we interact with it through Dr. Campbell and with Ian Miles, they were so responsive and open, collaborative, and grateful. And we still have to go to MP Hales as well as MP Vass, and they were also responsive. So right now for us, it's about again the recovery. It's to begin the conversation. And that's, so Councillor Miles and I had this conversation. And I want to talk a little bit about who the team, the Dr. Trisha Baileys of the world, the Beverly Nichols of the world, some who we know like the Jazz Clayton Hunts, the Claudette Powells, people who are non-Jamaican who are giving of time, talent, and treasure because it's one Jamaica to build back better. And the councils now, peer persons told us, Jeffrey, not to work with the politicians. I had several interviews that says, Karren, don't even bother with them. So our approach has been twofold. It's been to work with agencies, with faith communities.
Hold on, Dr. Dunkley, I'm going to continue. But isn't it a shame? And I don't have Wilfred Rattigan come on in here now. Is it a shame that Jamaicans and Jamaicans in the diaspora cannot trust their own government? Wilfred Rattigan, you want to come on in here and have Dr. Dunkley answer? You're checking the Wilfred Rattigan program. We're live here on the Make Talk program.
Rattigan, I did not expect to see you, attorney. Here you are. Good to see you, sir.
Not hearing you.
Dr. Dunkley, humanitarian extraordinaire, servant of the people, real servant of the people, the unelected servant of the people. I'm so proud of you and what you're doing to help our people in Western Jamaica. And on a personal level, I want to thank you also too for helping me out. Look, I just got the tail end of the conversation, but it's a disgrace and a shame that people like Dr. Dunkley, they have to go to Jamaica and try and help out, because these are things that should have been in place. And people tune in this Saturday because I have a special to do on what we call Office of Disaster Preparedness, ODPEM. I have a special, and I'm going to open up your eyes this week to some secrets that they have. There are some things that we have to talk about, and we're going to do a full segment on them. And we're going to show you the politicization, how politics has permeated that agency. It's not the first time it's sitting in the office of the Prime Minister. It's the second time actually, but it's this time around is quite different than the first time. One is that it is a public secret that we can't trust this government with money. We just cannot. We cannot. And that's why you have countries like the UK said, okay, we will give you aid. We'll give you assistance in kind, not cash. Because they have a history with this government. They know their tendencies and they have sticky fingers. And so they're not going to part with their cash. And that's why you see the international organizations now, they're jumping in and saying that, okay, we're going to help. But keep people, I want you to keep this in mind. Hear me out. In 2020, Jamaica received, for COVID, Jamaica received about $750 million US in loans. So when them tell us that them not take out no loan, them telling them no lie. $750 million US in loans they've taken. And guess what? It's not them going to pay it back, Our generation are going to pay it back, right? Our brother, sister, cousin, auntie, friend, them are going to pay it back. And this what's it? This 6.8 billion US dollars. Look at it carefully. Most of it, loans. And I hear the Prime Minister talk about, we're going to play that this weekend too. We're going to play that this weekend and show that the Prime Minister is not completely honest with us when he said that, nobody has raised any objections to the way they treated COVID funds. Lie. Up to now, we haven't gotten a full accounting of the loans. And I just talked to you about $750 million US dollars, He's talking about it's the biggest social program that has ever existed in Jamaica. Listen, we're going to tear him up this week. And I hear my
But Attorney Rattigan, being on the ground, I just want to interject here and then finish. I know Jeffrey might say, but Karren, I've invited them. So my position has always been, I think this is an opportunity to invite government, because I listened to some media reports, and the assertion is that these accusations are liable, that they are completely unfounded, they're untrue, and that it's utter nonsense. So I'm curious as to the accusations that funds are being misspent and that funds are not going to the places as directed, or they are misappropriated. And what I would like to say is, Attorney Rattigan, is to invite, quite frankly, Jeffrey, someone from ODPEM, have them come and share, right? Because we know, for example, that
Karen,
ODPEM has not started their procurement. Have
them
someone, a
not come.
spokesperson in government.
They're not coming, and I tell you why they're not coming. It's a very simple matter. I went back today and I started looking at their appearance in Parliament last week, and here's what happened. The gentleman who's in charge right now and the Prime Minister's permanent secretary, they're both military men. They have been trained not to engage in discussions like we are having right now, Karen. They have been trained to follow orders. They're not their job is not to say who, when, why, how. No, their job is to say, aye, my captain. Yes, sir. And remember now, who's the commander in chief? The prime minister. So when the commander in chief says, I want you to do this, there will be no argument. So it's a completely different thing. When they're telling you this, Karen, don't make them, well, them can't fool you, because me know so right now, you know what going on, but you know, you probably, yes, you start biting your lip.
I don't know why you're saying, Rattigan, and you're putting words and thoughts into my mouth and my head.
No, well, you're coming like the man who are on at them right now, because when Damien hold him and start choking last week, him start out calm like you like this, and by the time Damien finish, him sit down and him go so.
Ratty, I'm going to shout out on PEM. Let me tell you, Rattigan, when you're on the ground, it's overwhelming, the donations, the fact that they had to implement a process just to manage the Herculean effort. And I always am mindful that civil servants, we can never pay them enough in terms of their remuneration. And I have to tell you that we have cleared 3 containers, and numerous charities have come in, and ODPEM, the civil servants there have truly and are truly serving Jamaica. So I know and I hear you, but I have
Well, let
to
me ask you
say,
this.
yes.
I have a question for you. Can you tell me whether or not what ODPEM is doing now is different than what ODPEM did during Beryl, during what ODPEM did in preparation for Melissa, and what ODPEM did right after Melissa?
I lack information on the response to Beryl, and I charge that to Beryl perhaps not being as devastating as Melissa.
Well, hear me find out. Beryl did more damage to houses than Melissa, because Beryl actually, they said Beryl covered a wide swath of Jamaica, as opposed to Melissa. Melissa was devastating, but devastating for what, 4 or 5 parishes. But they said Beryl touched a lot more parishes and did a lot more damages to homes. Not to livelihood and all. And you see what happened. They didn't have that massive flooding and all of that. But I heard that Beryl did more damage over a wider swath of Jamaica than ODPEM. Here's the point I'm trying to make, why I ask you that question. Because when they said they're going to move it to the Prime Minister's office, I started looking and said, okay, let me go back and look and see if there's justification for moving it. Because you know what the Prime Minister said? 2 things. One, he said that he needed ODPEM to streamline the efforts. He needed it to be streamlined. That's one. And collaboration, cooperation. That's one. And 2, he said it had to do with remuneration. essentially what he was saying, we have some group of dunce bats over there because that's why we're not paying them enough, so we can't getting the right caliber of people. I dare say that you in that organization, I think you probably have more square pegs in square pegs. If you look at the people over there and their experience, look at them. Most of them have master's degree, and most of them have a tremendous amount of experience dealing with disaster management. So when the Prime Minister gives those two reasons, you know what that sounds like, Karren? It sounds like when they said, "Oh, we're postponing the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council because of Melissa." No. Because of Melissa. You hear the nonsense?
Attorney Rattigan, listen, we served during COVID. I served during COVID. And these events, they're catastrophic and they're unprecedented. There's absolutely haven't been in Jamaica on the ground that we could ask the government to distract itself from meeting and serving the Jamaican people to facilitate an election in the diaspora. By the way, where the diaspora has been the #1 first responders. Come on, Attorney Rattigan.
Just don't say. You just don't say. Hold on. You just don't say. You just don't undermine your argument, and you just made my point. You said, how can we ask the government to be distracted by having this election? And that is exactly my point, that the government should not be involved with the Global Jamaica Diaspora
But we're
Council.
not going to litigate that here, attorney. We can't. That's a different conversation about.
Right, I don't want to go down that road. Let's continue with this relief effort, because the people are complaining about the government is doing what the government is not doing. And I wish my video could be played. I don't know what happened. My video not playing here with Angela Brown. Angela Brown said something in the parliament, and the Prime Minister was upset. Very upset about it. Dr. Dunkley, you are on the ground down there. You have seen what is going on. Do you think the government?
Your voice a trill.
I don't know what's going on. You hear me now?
You're very low. I can hear Karren loud and clear, but you're very low.
Yes, you're coming in low. And Jeffrey is simulcasting Attorney Rattigan, so you can congratulate him on his simulcast.
Big up yourself, Jeffrey, on your simulcast. Much continued success, my brother. I hope you make 1,000 trillion Jamaican dollars off of this thing. Yeah.
I don't know, are you hearing me loud? A bit better?
Just a bit better, Jeffrey.
I don't know what's going on here. It's not my system. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I hope you all can try if you can hear me.
Hold on, put the mic in your mouth. Put.
No. I am not.
Because we can't hear you. So
can I put the mic in my mouth?
Take off the mic cover. Then. Take off the
mic. This show is watched by young persons that is speaking. We're not sure what's happening with that feedback.
I don't know what's going on. It's not coming from me because my system. Audio testing, mic 1.
It just seems like the audio trails a little, Jeffrey. Like it comes in gargly. So we don't know if you want to maybe re-enter.
Yeah, try that. And you can put back the thing on the thing. This have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can put back the cover. Ivor Hart, big up yourself. All the way in a Cayman. My dear. Thanks, Ivor. Yes, Dr. Dunkley. Continue with your point.
I'm just my point is, and Rattigan, I'd be interested in the information you have. I again can only speak from experience based on what I'm seeing. Is to say that the ODPEM response in terms of streamlining, in terms of supporting resources getting to the Jamaican people, our Jamaican brothers and sisters in need. These civil servants have been working nonstop, and we have been able, through the collaboration with them, been able to get resources to the people. And I think that that's an important point to highlight.
No, here's the point I'm highlighting. I'm not saying that they're not working and that they're not even, successful marginally or otherwise with their efforts. All I'm saying is that there was a quantum shift where the prime minister moved it. I think it was under the Ministry of Local Government, and they moved it to the office of the prime minister. So the question I'm asking you is, have their responsibilities shifted? Or is there something that they were doing that they shouldn't be doing, or something that they did that they didn't do that they should be doing, and then moving them under the office of the prime minister, putting them under the auspices of the military, if that is going to make a difference? Because based on what you're telling me, it sounds to me like they're doing what they should be doing. And so my question is, well, were they not doing what they should be doing while they were moved into the office of the prime minister? That's all I'm asking.
Yes. Are you hearing me now?
Yeah.
Much better. Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay. I was going to ask this question with Dr. Dunkley. For those others joining us, we're simulcasting. We don't have an echo now. We're simulcasting with Cayman Mall Road in the Cayman Islands. I want to say welcome to the Cayman Islands. I want to say welcome to the Cayman Islands audience who are watching us. Those who may know me, welcome. Those who are just joining us, welcome to the Make It Talk program. We are simulcasting this evening with Cayman Mall Road. My special guests are Dr. Karren Dunkley, Wilfred Rattigan, who is Rattigan program. Dr. Dunkley, we're talking about you on the ground in Jamaica. You travel from St. Elizabeth, the Red Basket Parish, into St. James, and into Hanover and Western. My question tonight: did you step over in Hanover? What's going on over there?
No, I did not have a chance, Jeffrey, to go to Hanover physically. It's the only part, and as well as Trelawney. What we did with our Hanover resources, we actually have a very good friend of mine lives in Hanover, and I have a driver who assists me when I'm here. He also lives in Hanover, and he alerted us that Hanover also was impacted in an adverse way from Melissa to an extent that requires assistance. And that is how Hanover came on our radar. So what we did is that through these individuals, we were able to get some care packages. Also, Dr. Bailey, along with what we are calling, at least I am calling it this, a Diaspora Consortium for Hurricane Relief for Melissa. We are now in the rebuilding phase. And so we're going to offer, including families in Hanover, access to zinc and zinc nails. Just to tide them over, we are granting priority to women and children, women with children, because our single parent families with children. We met a dad who the mom just passed from cancer, because especially being an educator, we understand that children, when they are displaced, become vulnerable to abuse. And so we're going to prioritize that group as well as the elderly. I see a question, Attorney Rattigan and Jeffrey, that's asking when and where is ODPEM working? And so for us, ODPEM works to ensure that the processes and the systems are in place to get access to the resources coming into the country. In terms of asking if they're physically on the ground, I am certain that that is a question that they can answer in a more granular way. For me, I interact with them in terms of getting our items processed so we can get to the people. And again, we have to, I must commend them, because without ODPEM, without the Ministry of Health and the National Enhancement Fund, we could not do what we do in terms of getting, and this is not just about food, it's toiletries, it's medical. We almost have an entire hospital that went to Black River. The kind of resources, the beds, the equipment, the IV stands, the diabetic, and for diabetes, how to treat them and what to treat them with the doctor. It has simply been remarkable. And again, the team, this is one Jamaica. There's no politics here. There's no color for us. So the Bailey Archie Foundation, Bailey's Pharmacy, Dr. Trisha Bailey, Beverly Nichols have 200 solar generators coming in. We took in an initial, I think 25 or 50, I can't even remember now, but it's foggy, and we distributed to schools and hospitals again, and elderly and people in need. Personally, I have given, I'm an educator, so my soft spot is always going to be the children. Have gifted several schools generators just so that the children will have electricity, because it determines their access to cook food from the canteen and the ability of the schools to function. And that has been Hurricane Melissa relief. But no, again, Jeffrey, we're entering a Attorney Rattigan recovery. We need to rebuild people's homes as we're recovering their lives and livelihood. And that is now where we need to continue relief, but we need to pivot to recovery.
Based on all of that, a lot of Jamaicans are still saying Dr. Duncan, Mr. Rattigan. I hope we're hearing a bit much better. My system
Yes.
is working. Okay, good. Based on all of that, Dr. Duncan and Wilfred Rattigan, Jamaicans are saying that the government is too slow in helping them. The Prime Minister got really upset in the Parliament about it. Your take on Dr. Rattigan, and then we go to Dr. Duncan. So Dr. Duncan is on the ground down there.
Mm. While attorneys coming in, unmute Ratty.
Oh, go ahead, Karen.
I just wanted to say, I'm just responding to the chat, Jeffrey. They're asking which schools. So one of the things that we don't do, we don't call the name of the schools, because this has happened. We notice when we go in and give aid to communities and schools that sometimes agencies are now saying, oh, you're getting help from there. And so their aid from where the aid should be coming from is whittling away. And we don't want for that to happen, because it's like the unintended consequence of doing good work. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. We're not here forever. We are not sustainable. So we want the system to align itself to the needs of the schools. And that is why we're not sharing the names. The principals know, and we'll continue to work with them. We don't need any halo. We don't want any heroine cape. We don't want any superwoman or superman cape. Our communities in need, and we help them. And we want the responsibility sits with the state, with Jamaica, to provide aid, and we want them to get everything they're entitled to.
Okay. Yes. Going back to your question, which is whether or not the assistance from the government has been slow. I think the answer to that is fairly evident. The fact that you have Dr. Karren Dunkley here telling you about her efforts and the efforts of the diaspora groups and others, because you would think that planning was afoot before this, before the hurricane, and that once the hurricane hit and they had a chance to look at the damage, which is like within 24 to 48 hours, that the most affected areas would receive the greatest amount of assistance. And what we're finding out is that that is not the case, because they simply don't know what they're doing. And and think about it, in the middle of this, right in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, they removed the Director General of ODPEM, and then they moved the agency within the portfolio of the Prime Minister. Now, if that doesn't speak volumes to you, then I don't know what else to say to you, because you would think that this is not the time to be making those decisions. Those decisions should have been made a while back, because remember, they were telling everybody, they told the entire world, we are prepared. We have 881 shelters. We have this, we have that, we have tara. And then the hurricane hit. And then what did they say? Oh, you can't prepare for a category 5. Well, damn, if you can't prepare for a category 5, nobody said that you can prepare for a category 5. Or you come out and say that, nobody's saying you could have been prepared for a category 5. And if you want move, I've never heard of a category 6, but 6, 7, 8, 9. Nobody's saying that. What we're saying is that, look, you have professionals. You have professionals. You have a professional agency, tried, tested, proven. Work with it. But the fact that you go and move the head of that agency days after the disaster, and then you move the agency within the they're getting a lot of aid, and because people don't trust you, you already can see how people would be inclined to think that there is something amiss here. There's something.
Rattigan, Mr. Tavares. I'm sorry, Jeffrey. I don't want to respond to something, Rattigan's.
Not only that, Dr. Duncan, Mr. Rattigan, we are not getting accountability of how much things is being donated to Jamaica. I am being told that the Cayman Islands has donated some vast amount of generators from A.L. Thompson and all those places in the Cayman Islands. And the Prime Minister is saying some of the police stations that is operational don't have any generator. So my question is, where are the donations going? How is it that some of the police stations don't have any, some of the health don't have any? What is really going on? Dr. Dunn,
I just wanted to touch on something that Rattigan shared. Rattigan, in organizations, you have to move people with a swiftness because you're responding to a disaster, to a humanitarian crisis of this magnitude. I'm not addressing personnel in terms of the who. What I'm saying is that you can't delay, the price of inaction increases. So the longer you take to transition personnel, is the impact, if it's not working, becomes greater. And so I can't speak to the decision making behind, because obviously I'm speaking for my diaspora consortium, and we are not official government or connected to government, but just in terms of organizationally, if it is that we have elected a prime minister, it is within the prime minister's remit to make those kinds of decisions.
Yeah, but what it shows a dysfunction, and it shows incompetence. Because if you are going to make that decision within a few days of her, that's when you need the help. That's when you need the expertise. And what did they do with the man that they moved? They said, oh, he's in the prime minister's office to do what? Coordinate.
And he was an excellent person, Evan Thompson.
Yeah, to coordinate. That's what they said. They're Richard Thompson. That's what they said. They said to coordinate. And then guess what? They said they're moving the agency in there for coordination purposes. Come on, Karren, man. Give a little credit, man. You know that don't.
I give you.
We're drunk going on
I
fool.
give you lots of
No, because I know, Karren, deep in your heart. I know it deep in your heart. You won't say it, and I don't blame you. But deep in your heart, I talk to your psyche now. I talk to your conscience. I'm going to talk to you right now. Yeah, because I talk to your conscience.
The dance, Jeffrey? Worries tonight.
I'm speaking to your conscience right now. You know, Karren, that if all right, you know what? Let me just ask you a simple question. The places that you have been, when you first got there, was the government there?
Okay. So here's the.
Hold on for me, Dr. Dunkley. Yes or no? Was the government in the place that you went?
But we are working with a member of parliament, so yes, that's government.
No. We're talking about you just say ADPEM. You just say ADPEM. So we're asking you the places that you went to. The first time you went there, was ADPEM present?
So you're asking about ADPEM specifically, then, Rattigan, not government, right?
No, because no, sorry to interrupt you.
No, I have not had the opportunity. You're talking on the ground ADPEM.
No, I'm talking up in the sky.
Jeffrey.
Was ADPEM or the Jamaica Defense Force there? Because the people
we did see JDF. We absolutely did see JDF. We saw several St. Elizabeth JDF.
Karren. We're not talking about a visual an observation of them. We're talking about the kind of assistance that you provided. That's what we're talking about. Was the
Jerry.
government providing that kind of assistance when the assistance that you provided? If you can't find it, Karren, and you left from Oyo, go there, go see, why is it that the government couldn't force you to it? Because you were helping some of the most needy communities. Why is it the government? Why is it that you beat the government to the punch? And them have helicopter, right? Them have jeep, them have boat, them have satellite, them have imagery, them know about the communities themselves. So, Karren, how is it that you, with none of those resources, I'm talking about satellite imaging, helicopters, boats, trucks, buses, plane. How you manage to make it there before them, Karren?
But not only Mr. Rattigan, how is it that artists like Spice, other people can make it there? What happened to the government?
Let me ask this, Jeffrey. So I hear the Jamaican people, and the Jamaican people. So, for example, water, right? A big feedback right now is drinkable water. And so that's one of the messages I'm going to carry to the diaspora and carry to the council reps to interact with the government and agencies. And I can do it too, to say, what is the plan to get water to deep rural Jamaica that is drinkable and reliable, right? So we know we have that. But what would that, or what should it look like? This lady said I'm defending. Hey, Jeffrey, your people have can't done me now. I'm not defending. I'm simply saying, what would we have liked to see, Rattigan? When you say the government is not there, tell me a little bit more about what you want to see.
Make me tell you. I saw a video where some the consul general from the Cayman or whatever, I think it was the Cayman, where she have spigots, like 10 or so spigots. And you know what they were doing? They were using a desalination apparatus to provide drinking water. Right? No, let me walk you back. In 2020, this government said, we are going to build desalination plants all along the coastline of Jamaica, and we had one at near Ferry, Moses Park, right? Moses Park. Karren, that was 5 years ago. How is it that the Cayman can come in a less than 2 weeks and have water run from desal plants, and we promise our people them this, and we up to now we can't do it? Water you just mentioned, you just mentioned.
That is a need, and I'm coming back with that. That's my focus.
They're providing water to certain communities right now. Little Cayman approve come to Jamaica and say we are going to show you how to convert salt water into water that you can use for shower, cook, whatever you want to do. How is it that we promise our people them this 5 years ago, and Cayman come and do it in 5 days? Explain that.
So Rattigan, I am going to know that water has come on. Water was always on my radar. My mother harvests water, and that's a genius of her.
Hold on a second. Lenny James corrected me. Thanks, Lenny. It's not Cayman, it's the Bahamas.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Wow. That's why I love your audience, Jeffrey, even when them done me, because they're very knowledgeable, and I can certainly appreciate that. Here's what I think we need now. So if you were to ask me, Karren, because, I had to come and get on connectivity, and I can't stay where I am forever. I just wanted to make sure that I can come and really talk to the people. It's always a good, solid conversation to be with you, Jeffrey. I never miss that opportunity. And an extra dessert on the sauce to have Attorney Rattigan here. What do we need now? What should happen? So in the ambassadors' town hall with the diaspora, I asked the question. Yeah, man.
Me teacher.
We asked to ensure that diaspora members serve on the committees to the hurricane relief, right? And that question was not for me. When I asked these questions, these suggestions are not for Karren Dunkley. I'm not asking for myself. What I'm asking is to bring the best thinking and to get them resources. So, for example, when you say, well, how could they do that? Then And we are still unable to do that. I think these are areas that diaspora can get involved, can interject itself, and really get a solid outcome. I think that we need some level of sustainability, because food packages eventually will stop. Care packages that are not only food will stop. Persons will eventually not donate to rebuild homes. But our brothers and sisters impacted, just like my mom and my aunts and all of their community in Eldersley, they will need to continue with their lives. And that now becomes a question. What is the way forward? How long will the crops take to grow? What happens to their income? How do they earn in the meantime? Coupled with the fact that you're going to have inflation because the bread basket is destroyed. So now you're going to be paying more for goods, and then you're going to really deal with some scarcity. So that is a conversation that I'm thinking about, and solutions in terms of what is my role. I've been here now for almost a month, 2 weeks first and another 2 weeks. So I know I'm not independently wealthy. I have to get back because I have to earn. I also have a family, right? And so these are the kinds of questions. How do we shake up the system? We need to shake it up. We have to shake up the system so that it works for the Jamaicans who live in Jamaica, who after we return to where we are from, even Kingston, it's like 2 Jamaicas.
How
My
do we
driver
shake
said
up,
it's
Dr.
3
Dunkley?
Jamaicas.
Dr. Dunkley, how do we shake up the government of Jamaica, the opposition, who are playing politics with the Jamaican people in this pandemic? That's the question we must ask ourselves. How do we shake them up? How do we say to them, listen to me, stop playing politics. Andrew, stop playing politics with the opposition. Because if you live in a natural disaster like this, one would have think that both the opposition and the prime minister would be out there making speeches pertaining to what is going on in the country. You hear enough? So how do
We have to shake it up. So let me say this though, right? This conversation is not decoupled from the low voter turnout in the last election, because it speaks to a lack of engagement, a lack of civic engagement of the people. So when we have these conversations about accountability and transparency and engagement, let's put the onus on our Jamaican brothers and sisters that we must get involved. We must remember, that the politicians serve us. It's only in Jamaica and maybe some other places I have seen there's some disconnect, like where we center politicians, we have to center people. And if I were a politician in the elected sense, I would center the people. I would not center myself. And I think that I'm hearing a lot about distribution of goods being politicized and all of that. But the people are at the center. They're at the center of everything that we do. So that is it. And I'm not going to back off on that. It really is just about them. When I go in, it don't matter whether or not the politicians, if they accept diaspora, if they're collaborative or not, we go directly to the persons. And I named you some politicians we have collaborated with, and they were very open.
When you say collaborated with, what does that mean?
So collaboration for us would look like, so we have the resources and we certainly say to them, because a lot of them have distribution centers. So for example, in St. Elizabeth, the MP there has a system where they distribute on a rotation. It's actually the first committee that we know of that is a community committee with MP Andrew Morris, to really say, hey, we need a committee that has the faith, that has principles, that has diaspora members. So we streamline. So for example, Karren Dunkley don't get 10 packages in 1 week, or she don't get 5 packages because we know somebody we're close to the member of parliament. And he's been very open about that, and to take the packages to people who may not have the access, that can't come down off the hill. I look at my mom, who are now considered elderly. Imagine what it would be like for them to have to come down off the hill to get a package. So they have people who come to pick up to go to them. So when I say collaborated, I mean to make sure that the most persons in need, that there's some equity, there's some fairness. The same thing happened yesterday when we were in Westmoreland. Mayor Delancey came. He said, this is my care packages. He said, with immediate effect, I'm going out into the community. The member of parliament, Dr. Campbell, said, where we are now, electricity is a concern because, again, all the polls are down. Mayor and MPs spoke to us about in Darlington about, and not just Darlington, they said all of that section, they corrected me, of Westmoreland, they're farmers and that they need access to electricity. And so I'm saying, what role can the diaspora play to bring back the livelihood of farmers? So in this humanitarian crisis, I am not going to entertain any conversation about the Jamaica Labour Party or the People's National Party. The conversation that I'm entertaining is about Jamaica and God and country first. And I will not apologize for that.
Dr. Dunkley, I understand, but with all due respect to you, though, Dr. Dunkley, the government, we have a government that is getting in all these aid, all these things coming into the country. I keep on asking this, and the prime minister getting so upset with everybody that he says war. He's gonna war because we're gonna be a war. War about what? We asking questions. We're not getting the truth from the Jamaican government, and the question needs to be asked: how is it that other people can come into Jamaica, a Dr. Karren Dunkley, a Dean, a Spice, a Vibe Cartel, how many other American artists come down there to assist Jamaicans, and the government just sit back, sir, and we must ask questions about anything? I know you don't want to. I know you don't want to say anything about the government in a sense, but the fact of the matter is, we need to ask questions. How much money, how much aid was given to the government of Jamaica by the Cayman Islands? And I'm going to say this tonight in Cayman. I am asking the premier of the Cayman Islands and the opposition leader, Mr. Joe Yu, do not give the Jamaican government 1 red cent. Figure out how to give food for the poor and other people. Because until now, we can't get a true answer from our questions from the government of Jamaica. All we can get is some bullies and some bad management of the prime minister.
Jeffrey, I think that we have to have an audit of everything that comes in. I am not averse to that. That's how we govern. That's how we operate. We audit everything that came in through the container. We audit exactly where it have gone to. We do some spot checks and some visits. I think that is good governance, right? I have not heard the government say that they're anti being an audit in the sense of around the resources. I think that that's quite reasonable that people would want to know in terms of cash and kind, what has come in, and then the outputs, where, because we want to make sure that in terms of the neediest, in terms of parishes and districts, because again, it is so localized, it is so contextualized, it is so different from area to area that those residents have what they need.
When you have, I get your Dr. Duncan. One would have think that this thing hit Jamaica, and one would have think that the prime minister would have evacuated the Jamaican people for the hardest hit in Westmoreland, Central Coast, and all those areas. You have people right now sleeping out in the elements of the night. Start looking at them, mosquito biting them. Dead bodies there, dead bodies here. And we must speak about, when you speak about all the Make We Talk program, or Rattigan program, or paint propaganda, and all that is talk about the government. Listen to me. We have so many news organizations in Jamaica who are sending out the news. So if the Make We Talk program is putting out something, there's nothing fake around here. And I call on Harold Morgan to come on this program and explain to us how the relief effort is going. All we can hear is every time they have a press conference with Dana Dixon that makes absolutely no sense. People are still sleeping out in the elements of the night. What is being done for the people? Are you claiming that enough poor people, Prime Minister, honest? Are you come from a 2-bedroom and a 1-bedroom? Which one of them? That's where a 1-bedroom you come from. While the Jamaican people in Central, It's sleep not the element of the night. And we must speak about it. Doctor, don't go ahead, because if I be talking, then I end up saying something to Mr. I think I'm taking us to the bad. We're not the bad.
You have somebody in the chat by the name of Beerback. Let me address Beerback a bit. Beerback said, "Stop your foolishness, war on words. Y'all are set of dirty, stinking agitators." Beerback, that's uncouth of you. When you come over here, we can have a decent conversation. But if this is the way you're going to address us, then I suggest that do not waste your time and don't let us waste your time. There are other platforms you can go on. You don't have to come over here and curse us, because frankly speaking, I think what you're saying is that we're wasting your time, and we don't want to do that, believe me. And so I would highly suggest that, as I'm saying, Jamaica, take care of yourself, no man. No cause no problems for us, and no cause no problems for yourself. But you went on to say, lady, everything will be audited. These people are searching for silly talking points. Let me address that, Beerback. Let me use Beerback for talk a whole, for unpack a bunch of things where me hear Karren said. No, listen to what you said, Beerback. Beerback, English is very important, you know. English is a very important language, right? Because that's our primary language, right? We talk Patois, but we talk English. Yeah, we'll do that. You say everything will be audited. What you're saying is that the things are not being audited now. And that is exactly the point, because you need an audit system to determine what is coming in and what is going out. And here we are 1 month after the devastating hurricane, and they're still searching to implement an audit system. Now, we do know that the Auditor General is doing her level best, but we know that she can't cover the wide spectrum of things coming into the country. Because, for example, she's not taking into consideration what Karren and those people are doing. Let me ask Karren, have you heard from the Auditor General about what you're doing, what you're bringing in? No, because she's probably just looking at stuff that some government agencies are reporting, right? So the whole idea is that, look, a hurricane is not like a tornado. A tornado will just spring up suddenly. And I've lived through tornadoes in the South, right? They just come up, especially the ones at night, very, very dangerous. A hurricane, you hear about this thing days, if not weeks, because they start out from the coast of West Africa and come across the Atlantic, come in at the Caribbean and then go north. Everybody know the pattern, right? So the idea that you say everything will be audited tells me that you are deficient in understanding what is going on. Because if you say it will be, it means it hasn't thus far. And therein lies the problem, because we don't know. I saw a video, I think Atigo sent it to me, where people are talking about things that the Japanese government gave, and they're asking for an audit of those things, cuts and all kinds of things, you know, and we don't know. So, Beerback, don't let us waste the time. No, let me just say something else.
And there was no audit for the pandemic either. Go ahead, Mr. Rattigan.
Yeah, let me just say that September 3rd was a pivot. September 3rd, 2025 was a pivotal day in Jamaica's history. It was the date of the election. The election is over. We have a government, and we should hold that government responsible and accountable. I agree with Karren. It's not about JLP or PNP. It's about the government, right? It's not partisan. No, it's about the government, because the government is the government of all the people of Jamaica. It's not just partisan supporters, right? And Karren asked a question, and I was thinking about it while she was finishing her point. She said, what do we need to do to get this thing going, to get it going? What do we need to do? And here is one suggestion. I have many suggestions, but this is one. We can continue with the government doing what it's doing, saying what it's saying. But there is another pivotal date coming up in Jamaican history, and that is a week from today. A week from today. Because a week from today, the court is going to determine Mr. Paul Buchanan's motion, his submission. And the court is likely, based on what I'm hearing, is likely to send the election results back to the constituted authority, or declare or send it to the election court. In effect, saying that at some point down the road, it will be declared that the election is null and void. No.
That will never happen.
Well, you know what? You can say that because guess what happened when the prime minister gave the unsigned letters to Arthur Williams and Mr. Tufton, and it was appealed. Them said no, that will never happen. Them now go rule against him. And what happened? The court did rule against him, right? And we have many instances where the court has ruled against the odds, where people said that will never happen. Well, here's the thing. Let's just say that it happens. Immediately, Jamaica is in a crisis because we don't have a prime minister. That's the first thing. So Mr. Tufton, I suspect, will be elevated to that position. And then he will have to choose a cabinet. And Mr. Tufton comes with a lot of baggage, and we're helping him carry the baggage. We've identified the baggage, and we're helping him to carry the baggage. So he will have to be on his P's and Q's. That's one thing, because now it's in a tizzy. Another thing is that people seem to forget, when you say that you don't trust the government, people seem to forget that there are several issues pending. There is a Dennis Strong. How many people remember Dennis Strong? Right? FID. People completely forget that he's still there. I don't call him the Integrity Commission any longer. I call him the Commission. There's a case on appeal right now. Then we have the drill. We have the DPP. We have the whole school buses, them. We have rooms on the beach. We have the 28 bank accounts. We have SSL. We have companies formed by the Prime Minister during COVID. We have ADMAT.
I wonder what's happening on a farm under him now during this hurricane thing.
Well, here's what happened. I highly suspect that those companies have been formed already, because I was told that a lot of politicians, they're clamoring for some of these contracts. And people tune in Saturday, because we're going to walk and show you. We're going to teach you about the different forms of procurement in Jamaica, because you know what they're going to issue now? They're going to issue something called direct contracting, and the special provision under direct contracting will be emergency. And we need to scrutinize those contracts, because it is quite likely that if something costs $1, the Jamaican taxpayers or the aid coming in will pay $100 for it.
Say what you want to say. I'm going to ask Dr. a question here about the field hospitals. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we have to pay careful attention to it. So the idea about auditing and inventory, those things are absolutely necessary, and they should have been in place. And now they're hustling to come up with an audit system. And it's the question is, what about the things that came in already? Can anybody give an audit of the things that came in already before they put in these systems? Before they put in this inventory system, can anybody come and say, yes, we've received X from all of these people here, and then we have pushed out Y? Can anybody say that with certainty? Guess what? I can answer that question. No, they cannot. They cannot, because we have people who are incompetent leading the mission on the part of the government. By the way, here's a little tidbit. You remember there was a big to-do about the Chinook helicopters. Anybody ever wonder where them they now?
You mean the one that
they could carry in terms of food drops? I was told that they could do something like, I'll have the stats ready for Saturday's program, but I was told that they could do something like 12,000 pounds. And guess how many helicopters Jamaica have? JDF. Mears at 2. And they can only carry about 1,000 pounds. So you can see the difference between the Chinook and our DBDB helicopters them. And guess what happened? The Chinooks left Jamaica 2 weeks ago. The Chinooks are not in Jamaica. They're gone.
Hello, good night. Make me talk your line. Hold on there. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Yes, I want to ask a couple of questions. I hear the Prime Minister stand up big and bold and said, when no misappropriation of funds happened with COVID, and why is it the IC found that he misappropriated funds to buy stocks and bonds out of COVID-19? And then I have to add, when they
Hold on to
brought
me, Carla. Hold on to me, because you're having an echo here. Hold on a minute. Don't know what's going on with the system here. If you
I
go,
can mute to see if that helps.
go ahead. Hold on, Carla. Go ahead now. Mm-mm. Hold on to me, Carla. I don't know what's going on with the system here. I hope it's not. Just a moment.
Attorney, while Jeffrey's working on that.
Hold on.
Oh, you
Go
made
ahead.
it, Jeffrey?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, just to say that I hear what you shared, and obviously I'm not as erudite in the legal profession as you are, and we've had several conversations about that. And perhaps it is quite childlike and perhaps naive for me to opine on matters of legal, I would say, parameters. However, sir, I just don't, I hear the case, I'm going to zone in. Let me tell you something. When there's a disaster going on, sometimes the news you used to watch, first of all, connectivity is challenged. But if past is prologue, I don't see what you've just described. I just don't see it happening, and certainly not in 2025 Jamaica.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. If things don't happen, we have to make them happen, right? And that's why we have decided to establish a GoFundMe to support the appeal, because we're not appealing in the event that you are correct. We are not supporting the appeal of a political candidate or a political party. We're supporting the appeal of a principle, our principles, good governance, rule of law, and the sanctity of the ballot box. If you say you support free and fair elections, and there is a legitimate complaint that is in compliance with the rules. Rules meaning that if you are the losing candidate and you object, then you must go to the constituted authority. And what is the evidence that you're supposed to bring to that constituted authority? The only evidence under law, Elections Petition Act, the only thing, that's what it's called. The only evidence under law, affidavits. It's not asking for videotape. It's not asking for audio. It's not asking for witness testimony. It's not asking for any of that, or the production of documentation. It just says, just show up with an affidavit. And what is an affidavit? It's a sworn statement. That's all it is, saying, I swear that.
Rattigan, we lost you.
We have lost you.
Yeah, you can't hear me now?
We can.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you mute me now.
No.
It just said, it just said on my screen, the host has muted your mic. That's what it said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that under the law, the only thing you have to do is to provide affidavits saying that you swear that these things are true. And then the only thing that should take place after that is the constituted authority must act as a courier and send it off, file the application, file a submission on your behalf with the election court. Now, if that doesn't happen, let's say you're right. I just gave you an example. If you're wrong, now let's say you're right. What is the next course of action? The next course of action is an appeal. And I'm saying to the Jamaican people, this is not about a political party. If you truly believe in the rule of law, if you truly believe in good governance, if you truly believe in accountability, if you believe in the sanctity of elections, then you must feel compelled to support an appeal. And that's why we said to people, hold on to your money, put aside $100. I will put the first 200, but hold on, and by no means am I saying I will only put 200. I'm saying I will put the first 200. And I said to people, join me so that we can come up with a fund so that we can pay the attorney. We're not sending the money to no candidate because we don't care who the candidate is. We are arguing for the principle that if an election is tainted, it must be done over. And that's where we go. So then what happened? You appeal to the appeal court. And if they agree with the lower court, then guess what? There's always the Privy Council, and we know what can happen there, because there you're going to have people who are completely independent and objective. I'm not saying that the appeal court, and I'm not saying that the court where it is right now, the Supreme Court, that they're not, but I'm saying you still have avenues to pursue this. And that is where we have to do this. We can't just give up. We can't give up and say, well, that's what the thing said. And you know, that will never happen. No. Here's what happened. If you tell yourself, say, you can do something. And if you tell yourself, say, you can't do something, guess what? You're right on both occasions. If you tell yourself, say, you can't do it, you won't do it. And if you tell yourself, say, you can't do it, you're going to do everything in your power to make it happen.
I want to go back to that. Hold a minute. I can figure out something here. Right? Hold on a minute. I want to go back to audio testing. You hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you, Jeffrey.
See, it come up as the host.
I just muted you a while ago to figure out something here because we're having a feedback. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from.
Oh, you're checking. Okay, I can mute out again if that helps to see.
Yes, audio testing, mic 1. It's not my system. Anyway, let me go back to the thing where we're talking about the whole relief effort. Members of the Jamaican diaspora, Dr. Dunkley, some of them is saying that thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much, Sandy. Thank you. Some of them is saying that they do not want to donate to the Jamaican government. That this has never happened in the past before, Dr. Dunkley. You're a part of the Jamaican diaspora. What do you think of why Jamaicans now is saying that they refuse to donate to the Jamaican government because they don't trust them? Why do you think they're saying that?
I think so. I think that we understand that there is a trust concern. There's also an agility concern that government is a bureaucracy like most governments, and it's not nimble or agile enough to get to the people quickly enough. Clearly, we have seen indicators where Jamaicans have stated through whether it's survey or just through conversations that there is a lack of trust in the government. Now, that does not mean that there's a lack of trust again in any political party. I think that when you take both sides, you'd have people who say, hey, we don't have any trust in any of the two political parties that would constitute government. And I think then to truly remedy this lack of trust, we have to build a system. It's in the system that we're going to get the change. So we can't make it about a personality. We have to look at the system. And so, for example, Rattigan did a little bit of semantics with me as a teacher, literacy, will. And you know that it will be audited, but it's semantics because really what I'm saying, attorney, is that it should be audited.
You said no.
What the person said in the right. Okay, and so that is the reason why. And to me, if I were a sitting member of the government on either side, I would be focused on putting in parliament, making a system that is transparent and visible to the public to build that trust back. And I think that that's incumbent on all of them to say to the Jamaican people, here's how we're going to interject transparency and equity and visibility back into the system to build back the trust. And I'm holding the government, all of them sitting in parliament, accountable for this. Typically, I don't respond to all the comments in the chat, but there's one person who says I must be getting fish head. Many of the no, and I hope my husband not watching these things, because his credit card is telling the story. And I was saying to a friend of mine, interest rates are very high. And coming to Jamaica, I said, boy, I'm beginning to use my credit card a little bit too much. So that's a red flag. It's time for me to go home. And somebody said, Karren, why bother? Again, it's not a halo, Attorney Rattigan or Jeffrey. It's knowing that once upon a time, if I were in Jamaica and I needed help and seeing what my mom and her family they're going through and my friends, I would want someone to remember me. And it's just that simple. There are many suffering people right there in New York. I'm an educator. I'm in urban districts. We have children in trauma, in poverty who are being abused. There's enough work. We have homeless Jamaicans right now that we can assist, but we understand that this is unprecedented. It's monumental. So there's no fish head to get. It really is our time. I have a business. My businesses were destroyed. It's our talent. We have to mobilize and organize. It's a lot of stress to pull people together. And it's our treasure. It's money that could be going to pay down my mortgage, right? Quite frankly, that I could build my mom the roof. I mean, the cost of materials, astronomical. The cost of labor, astronomical. My mother is retired. So there is no need to cast aspersions, because a lot of the people from the diaspora here are people like me who work for a living, who file their taxes, and don't have extraordinary or inordinate resources. And for those who do and still decide to give Jeffrey one last point, I salute them, because there are many people who have the wherewithal and will not send $1 to the OLJDF or will not send $1 to any of the charities doing work on the ground. So shame on them. And we'll continue to do the work that we were sent to do by God. By God.
Dr. Dunkley, we have a call on line. Caller, go ahead.
Yes, I want to say something. I hear they keep talking about the problems that they're having with getting the information about what was shipped to the Jamaican government. Listen, Jeffrey, I work in shipping. Now, let me tell you something, Jeffrey. Everything that you ship come with a bill of lading and an airway bill.
Mr. Tavares.
The manifesto and enter it into the system. I know everything that has came in. So it's not hard for them to tell what they have. And it's not hard for them to tell what went out. So I don't understand what's the problem with this inventory when that information is already clear already. Next question I would like to ask, why is the government showing up areas where when elections they do mapping and they know how many people in the area, but the government is showing up areas of 60 packages? Tell me if that makes sense.
All right. I'm up on that. Okay. All right. Good night. Talk here.
Yes,
yes, let's stay on low.
No, listen to my young lady there was talking.
Was your ship before?
Yeah, but it's about you want to pick him up. It's what I'm here right now. When I read and listen to some of the video, I hear the young people, not a lot of them is very serious. They are the first time in Jamaica. A lot of time in Jamaica.
Yes, sir.
The last time
Hold on. A lot of storms hit Jamaica, yes. But this is the most devastating one in Jamaica.
Yes, I agree. But listen, why that is so devastating? Because it comes from Western Jamaica and the place is level. So there is nothing to break the wind like Blue Mountain. Because in 1958, when Gilbert destroyed me, my house was
Where the hurricane coming from? Where Melissa coming from?
Western Jamaica this morning.
The hurricane came in from Portland, come down there, South Coast, come down there, so.
And the West Island,
Yes, but it start from it, so come down.
yes, I understand. But what I'm trying to say to you,
Uh-huh.
what I'm trying to say to you, it is the first time in the history of Jamaica that a major storm enters from the Western Jamaica. It don't have to be a level place. I've been to West Island, I've been to Elizabeth, I've been to Hanover, I've been to Antigua. And it don't have to be a mountain like a mountain to break. That's why, and word, I from Central, right? I from the North Coast in Central. And Gilbert comes out. You understand what I mean? And you have the mountain and break the wind. Most of the people don't return to me. I'm going to
And then it's not a disgrace, sir. In 2025,
yeah,
the two, hold on for me now. Hold on for me now. Hold on for me, sir. In 2025, the two political parties in the country have been running this country from 1952 until now. And in 2025, what people are in both out?
yeah, but in the first 2 times, Michael has been fought in this over.
Uh-huh. Yeah, both houses. I have to go now. Thank you very much. I gotta run. I have some people calling it. Gotta run. Thank you very much. Gotta run.
All right, take care.
You know that who will be home.
Let me just. You have another call?
No, sir.
Yeah, let me just address a couple things in the chat. I say Andrea Burke. She said, I hate that word. That will never happen. And Jonas is not above the law. Andrea Burke, I agree with you. That phrase, that will never happen. I know you're referred to Karren said it, that will never happen. But here is a person. But let me just give a little bit of, let me give the backstory.
Good night, Mr. Talker Line. Hello?
Hello?
Miss Peter, TV.
I read on TV. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, good evening, Mr. Miss, that beautiful young lady there. My point is, Dunkley, 2024 hurricane buried, and I lost my entire race, and I lost 6 big hogs.
It's a pig, man.
No, when they say pig, you mean a pig is a baby.
Okay.
They mean big pig then. One of them can be at least 400, 300, 200. And I've never seen nobody come here, look for the damage and give me nothing to bury. Melissa come, and the same thing. No, you know, we can never buy a dog, but the roof have gone, not in my package from nobody of government. As I speak here right now in this center.
So let me ask you, Mr.
Yes.
You're saying to me,
Yeah.
you're in St. and nobody
Yes.
from the social and social security come around to give away the package.
Nobody give me a care package. Only Andre Stevens. Me don't accept and give me a care package. 2024, the last entire house now. The last big of them and take no me house that me lose. Me don't matter. But me don't see no representative. No representative. They say, well, right like him and if you see the year you get the assistant. None. I'm certain you say me used to work and pay tax like everybody else. So, Miss Dunkley, let me tell you, in a Jamaica, it no normal. Anybody a foreign and make donation to people, best thing you could do is to come in the area, find out how one get damaged, get look at the stuff that meet them and anything you have to give them, you give them at their hand. If them have to sign for, you make them sign or you give them nobody. Everybody goes say yes, package them is done it. And now them have to do it. So me now
All right, Mr. Thanks much.
Jeffrey, if there's any way, thanks so much to the caller.
Right.
If there's any way, she's in St.
Okay.
Anne, and because we're paying for everything, including our own transportation, but when we're giving out the zinc, we have 10 pieces of zinc per family. If she can find a way, just get her information. So at a minimum, we could give that, because if she does have the pigs, the hogs, then that would be helpful, because we also raise pigs and hogs, as she called them. So it could be helpful to help her build back since
Hold on
she
a
has
minute, Uncle.
lost.
You're saying that you're giving out 10 sheets of zinc?
Yes, we're identifying families, and we're going to help families in need with 10 sheets of zinc. We can't obviously account for their entire structure, but to stop a gap. And so just hearing that, because this now is layered tragedy, right? It's a layered crisis that she's impacted by burial and no Hurricane Melissa. And I think I can't just hear that and pretend like she didn't say that. In the same way, when you go into these areas, you have to be changed. So if you could get her information, tell her to message you, and we'll make sure she's one of the recipients of the 10 pieces of zinc.
She's also she's an audience listener to this program here, and also the Rattigan program. I named her Smee. She's a very nice lady, and we're going to see what we can assist her with. Rattigan, in a sense, doing what he do, his way to help others too. Dr. Dunkley, as it's now 8:37, we're gonna go up until about 9 o'clock, can we? And then we just wrap it up there.
No, make sure go ahead, man. Let me deal with the thing, yeah. Let me deal with the thing, Ifrey. Mr. Tavares, let me deal with this thing here. All right, let me go back to that will never happen, because there was an outburst on Dr. Dunkley's part, right? And so Andrea Burke put something in the chat, and I happen to agree with Andrea Burke. Now, if we're going to attribute that, I'm sure it's a popular phrase, one point or another. But if we're going to attribute that,
was for you, Rattigan.
I know it was for me. The person we should, I'm gonna take it up. You throw your can and the phone show up. No, here's what happened. The person who we should attribute that to is none other than my favorite minister. You all know who that is. Everybody knows who that is. That's the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. And she, when asked about withdrawing her candidacy for the position of Secretary General of the Commonwealth and leaving the path clear for Baroness Patricia Scotland to be re-elected, Honorable Kamina Johnson Smith said, that will never happen. That's where it came from.
Not gonna happen.
And you see what happened, right? She continued and she lost. So when people said that will never happen, I said, that's fine. It's okay. Let's see. The second thing is, beer back, big up yourself. I don't know if you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. If you're, as long as you're a Jamaican, just know, say, me love you, right? We come from the same soil, and something like this, we're supposed to join our hands and hearts and our contributions to help our people. and you ask something, and this is how more me and you have a conversation, Beerback, because Beerback asked a good question. Said, do you respect that many others said don't share your view? I do, Beerback, and that's why I invite people to teach me, because I am not always right. I'm just like you. I'm human, and we are susceptible to making mistakes. And so I don't want us to have this bickering and this, So when you come on the program like this, ask a question and challenge us. Say, on this point that you made, I disagree, and here is the reason why I disagree. And let's have a civil conversation. That's how it should be. But when people come on and them come with the one-liners and the zingers and the derogatory, that doesn't benefit any of us. And that's why I said to you that if that is your position, then we are wasting your time, because we thought that we're sharing information and educating our people, and at the same time being open to being educated. But you can't educate me when you say something derogatory. That is not educational. You must come and say, you have said that A, B, and C, and I disagree because it's D, E, and F, and then we can have a meaningful discussion. And at the end of the day, I might be able to convince you about some things, maybe all of the things. Maybe you convince me about some of the things or all of the things, or maybe we just decide to respectfully disagree. And that's fine. That's what I would like to see in our Jamaican people. I want to see the animosity buried. I want us to come as critical thinkers, and then we can put ideas out there, Beerback, and then we can discuss the ideas, and at the end of the day, we can come up with something that is measurable, something that is successful, and something that represents all of us, that we can say, yes, we all put this together. But the constant bickering and all of that, Beerback. So Beerback, big up yourself. I like the question you asked me. And yes, I do respect that people don't share. There are people who don't share my views. And for those people, I say to them, teach me. Explain to me why you don't share my views, and let me understand. And maybe I can explain. Maybe I'm a failure at explaining my ideas. And so when you challenge me, maybe that will have me now dig deeper and try and explain it to you so that you can understand. Because some of it, is from miscommunication and misunderstanding. It's not that the idea is not a good idea. It's just that I am not conveying it in a way that you understand. And that's why I enjoy having these engagements. So Beerback, big up yourself. Continue to do what you do. And if you have any questions for me, rest assured, Rattigan will run from questions. And if I don't know the answers, Beerback, believe me, you won't find me wanting. I will simply say to you, I don't know the answer to that, and I will do my level best to find the answer. But I'm not gonna lie to you, Beerback. You can put your money, put your pot on fire upon that. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, I'll tell you the truth. Thanks.
We're gonna wrap up now, but I want to say this before I go. I have news coming into us right here. Remember, we're simulcasting with Cayman Mall Road over there in the Cayman Islands. Everybody know that Cayman is my second home. I want to say good night to Dr. Stephen Tony Tomlinson, to Lady Eva Tomlinson, to Dr. Sidney Aubrey Banks. Good night to all my family and friends over there in the Cayman Islands. Jamaica, back home now. 48-hour curfew has been imposed on the community of Park Lane, 100 Man Lane in Red Hills Road, St. Andrew. The police have imposed a 48-hour curfew. Apparently, they think that the crime is stepping up in that neck of the woods. So the JCF has imposed a 48-hour curfew beginning at 6 p.m. Monday, December 1st, and remain in effect until 6 p.m. Wednesday, December 3rd. That's a 48-hour curfew has been imposed on sections of Park Lane and 100 Man Lane in Red Hills, St. Andrew. And the curfew began at 6 p.m. on Monday, December 1st, and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. on Wednesday, December 3rd. Dr. Dunkley, I want you to give us your final words on the whole effort going on in Jamaica. We go all over the place with the entire program and conversation here. But let's go back to this. I want you to tell us, your final words on what you think should be done and could be done in the initial stage where the government of Jamaica did not do enough. And I will not apologize for what I'm saying. I do not believe the government of Jamaica. He's saying she lives in Finland and she has everything. Yet the Prime Minister will come on into the Parliament and use his arrogance because people is saying they're not getting enough. People is asking what the government is. And he's saying, him not afraid of nobody. Reminds me of Portia 6 Miller was saying, not afraid of no boy, no girl, nowhere. Him not afraid of nobody. So why they would get Prime Minister Holness is becoming of you, sir. You have better things to do more than listen to us here in social media. Then the fact of the matter is Prime Minister Holness. If you think that Jeffrey Tavares will make it up, Simon Carson and Cayman Maru to the Cayman Islands, and Rizzi Rattigan is giving the people misinformation, then come on our program, sir. I'm extending an invitation to you, sir, to come on the Make It Talk program and come and tell the Jamaican people in the diaspora and Jamaicans all around the globe the truth of where lying then, sir. Come and tell us. Dr. Dunkley, your final words first, please.
Thank you again, Jeffrey, for certainly having me. Thank you again for your listeners, for engaging, for renting the space as we talk about Jamaican land we love. And of course, it is always good to sit among colleagues and friends with attorney Wilfred Rattigan. And Rattigan, it's one of the talking points, Jeffrey, that we try to communicate. I try to be emphatic, to state it as often and passionately that even when we don't agree, let us understand, let us respect, let us hear each other and engage in discourse. It is only through discourse that we're going to get out of some of the parochial, myopic, and tribalistic thinking so we can get the best for the country. On that note, we're moving from relief to recovery. We want to ensure that we're recovering people's lives, that we're focused now on housing, on livelihood, on water, and quite frankly, that we're standing in community. We want to urge those who can help. If you live outside of the disaster zone, there are 3 Jamaicas now, the unaffected. When I went into Kingston, it's almost as if nothing happened. The somewhat affected and the very devastated. And so we need to ensure that we continue our efforts to mobilize and organize to help our Jamaican brothers and sisters retain their dignity, because their dignity is intact, even though they're still in need, and to get them back on their feet again so they don't need to depend on diaspora and they don't need to depend on the government, but they can have what they need to have a sense of normalcy. So those are my final words, and that our focus is on God and country first. We know these issues. There are many issues on the table, and we must address these issues. But right now, let us think about people's lives. Let us think about that young child who I saw sleeping on the cardboard in a school shelter. That is on my mind as we continue to get from recovery to restoration.
Yes, and I just want to say this first in the chat room here. Dr. Dunkley is speaking to the Prime Minister how to spend donation money. Not because we may say, and I don't think Dr. Dunkley is a part of the Jamaica Labour Party or the People's National Party. Mr. Rattigan, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, let me just thank you, Mr.
I am a
Tavares.
part of Marcus Garvey's party, though. The UNIC, the United, so you know that. I'm a Garveyite.
And we're a part of Mr. Rattigan's party, too.
Let me just say on that note, I want to thank you, Mr. Tavares, for having me on. I want to thank I want to thank Dr. Dunkley for sharing the table with us. And folks, just so you know, Dr. Dunkley and I, we're very good colleagues. We disagree on a lot. We agree on a lot, but it's always in good taste. It's we disagree without being disagreeable, and that's what I'm hoping for our people, that we can have a conversation and walk away still maintaining respect for each other and having the dignity to and the courage when you're wrong to say, yes, you know what, yeah, you make a, you made a good point, yes, that was wrong on me. So I just want to say that, and thank you, Dr. Dunkley, for all that you've done, all that you're doing, and all that I know you will continue to do. People, you're looking at a real patriot. She didn't have to do what she's doing. And when she told me she was going, I'll be frank, I did not believe it. And she went, and she did, they don't have a word, your woman's, we have yeoman's work, but she performed above and beyond the call of duty. And so we have to respect her for that. And we have to give her our props. And so even though she and I, we disagree a lot, we have to defend her when she do her thing because she's helping out. And think about it. Remember now, she won't tell you this, people, but she went to places before the government got there. And she started doing her thing, started helping out people. And get to know Karren Dunkley, believe me, because even when we disagree, I learn from her. I learn from her. And you should use the word myopic. Stay away from being myopic. You want to be panoramic. You don't want to be tunnel vision. You want to have this. You have a vision where you can see the whole landscape, not just this. So let me just say that, segue from Dr. Dunkley to talk about the diaspora a bit. It's an amazing thing that some people in Jamaica, they don't recognize us, they don't respect us. And you hear what I say? Some, because some of you going to say Jamaican people. Some people, right? And when I say some people, I'm talking about some politicians too. They see us only as donors. So them come up and them collect the money, and they don't want us to have any role, any say, nothing at all in Jamaica, even though they have
the money and put the money in them bag.
And and by the way, they collect the money on your behalf, Jamaica, and them don't spend it pound.
Right.
And don't spend the money pound. Right?
They put it in the consolidated fund. Go ahead,
Right. Money, hundreds of thousands of dollars still unaccounted for. So I just wanna in the final analysis say that there is a lot to be done, and people don't get upset when we hold government accountable, because that is what we're supposed to do. We are an opposition force. The opposition force is not the losing side in the parliament, it's also the people. Because remember, we sent those people here, the winners and the losers. We sent them there. And if they're not doing what we require of them, then it would be downright shameful, disgraceful, unacceptable that we allow this to happen and just sit back and say, I saw the thing go. We have to stand up. Here, Karren said, she remember the UNIA, the Marcus Garvey party. Kudos to her, because it's that party and that man is all about self-upliftment. It's about realizing who you are. And you know, the man who lacks confidence in himself has lost twice in the race of life. You lose before the race even starts. And that's why I said, when people say I saw it go, and people say where it go again, Jeffrey? What the phrase go? Where it go? That will never happen. Yeah. And you know it's funny, Marcus Garvey would never say something like that. That he said that will never. He would have said, up ye mighty race. That's what Marcus Garvey would have said. And he said it. So folks, listen, tune in on Wednesday. Tomorrow I'll be on Mystic, of course. And I know it go with Mystic. I'm doing research and things like that, and him come out charging. Wednesday, we have a lot to talk about. And then this coming Saturday, we're going to talk about the politics affecting ODPEM. And also we're going to teach people about contracts and what to expect and how to ask And then we're also going to do a piece on interviewing and interrogation techniques. Teach you how to be critical thinkers. So, Jeffrey, I want to thank you again for having me. And of course, Karren, keep up the good work. God bless you. God keep you. God guide you. God strengthen you. And people, get to know Dr. Karren Dunkley. Get to know her. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Karren Dunkley, Wilfred Rattigan. But before we go, I want to say to our listeners, I do apologize for the echoing. I don't know what's going on here. But come next Monday, we'll be still simulcast with Cayman Marco. We're going to fix the system here. I do not know if it's my system which I've got. I don't think it's mine, and I don't think it's Cayman Marco system. I think there's something going on within the belly of the internet system here. Maybe who's on the hack it and Anyway, we're gonna work on that and make sure that we have a smooth broadcast come next week. But join me tomorrow at 7 p.m. when I come to you again with a fruitful discussion. I think tomorrow I will be having opposition spokesperson on community and rural development. Yes, I think that's what's going to come on next week tomorrow. But come next Monday, I am working to get somebody else to come on to speak to us within the belly of the People's National Party of the Jamaica Labour Party. I'm extending an invitation to Senator Morgan. I'm extending an invitation to the Prime Minister of the country to come onto the programs and talk to us. Since we're spreading propaganda and fake news, come and talk to us, sir. We can get news from you. I want to say thank you to all the viewers of Cayman Mall Road, all my students in the Megatalk program, all the students who keep on having this program going. Thank you all very much. Our person in the chat room who's always moderating, walking in divine purpose. She's not feeling well. She's under the weather. Well, I cannot say this because we have to. Anyway. I want to say thank you all very much. Thanks to over there on Mount Road for making it possible. Thank you all very much. Until you hear my voice again, I am Jeffrey Tavares. It's so long. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Megatalk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. Until you see me tomorrow, Jaga.
As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no fumva viva va, no upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad of the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no fumva viva va, no upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad of the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no fumva viva va, no upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad of the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no fumva viva va, no upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.